Well, we have it. We have our first upset on the West Coast, a team that has had a good season so far and was nearly ranked. They were 26th in the AP poll. I believe they were 24th in the coaches poll this last week in Maryland, who was as high as 10th in the net at one point. I don't know if they were here most recently, but the computers were loving them. Ken Palm, net, they thought they were a very good team in Maryland, and they very well could still be a good team. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but they did not look it tonight against Washington. Maryland falls at Washington 75-69. Now, there's no shame losing on the road, right? Road venues in the Big Ten are difficult, but this is a Washington team that has struggled a lot so far this year. This is a Washington team that has played close games against teams that should be incredibly inferior opponents. But Maryland entered with a strong record, high national rankings, while Washington, a lower tier Big Ten team, sought for its first Big Ten conference win. And it was evident tonight that Danny Sprinkle is a very good coach. Danny Sprinkle is a very good coach, put together a very good plan for this game. His players executed the plan, and Danny Sprinkle was not afraid to ride his freshman in Zoom Diallo for the win. It was a good game for Julian Reese, who led Maryland with 22 points and 8 rebounds. He did, unfortunately for him, foul out, but Washington's team effort overall, especially Great Osobor with 20 points, 14 rebounds. Zoom Diallo had 18 points. Those were the biggest differences. And if Washington is going to win games in the Big Ten, those are the two players that they're going to have to ride. Now, I did say on the power rankings show right before Christmas that I felt like Washington was finding themselves a little bit more. I didn't say that thinking that Washington would like turn into a top half of the Big Ten team or anything like that, but I did say that Washington I don't think would be as much of a pushover in the Big Ten because of what they were showing and what they did against Washington State. Now, Washington State is not exactly a good basketball team, but they were able to show some things. They were able to learn, and I think we're learning now that Danny Sprinkle, although we knew he was a good coach, we weren't trying to take anything away from him. We just thought in the Big Ten this year it's going to be hard to rebuild your roster and build into something. It's probably going to take a year or two to really make an impact. And while it will probably still take a year or two to get themselves in the top half of the Big Ten and stuff like that, this was a very nice stepping stone and one that Washington fans can feel very good about and say, well, JR, you think we were going to be last? You thought we were going to be last in the Big Ten. We do have a chance to possibly be middle of the pack, and I love that for Washington fans. I love that for them and for their program and everything that's going to be able to go on for them. But on the other side, Maryland fans who felt like they had a chance to be a contender in the Big Ten this year, and they very well still could. I'm not saying that they can't, but for a Maryland team that was very confident in themselves and Derek Queen, the transfers that they brought in, Gillespie, all those other veteran guards and stuff that they were able to bring in, this one hurts a lot. The first half, let's go through some of the key highlights there. Julian Reese was dominant. Reese managed to be Maryland's offensive anchor, scoring 14 points in the first half, giving the Terps a 33-30 halftime lead. And at this point, I was still at the Indiana game, so I did not get to catch the entire first half, but I did go back and watch it later. I got home and was able to catch the second half of this game, and you felt like at some point Maryland just has to pull away, right? Like Maryland has been the better team this season. At some point, they're just going to pull away. But unfortunately for them, Derek Queen gets himself in foul trouble. Their leading scorer, Julian Reese, he fouls out of the game in the second half, and he has his time limited with foul trouble and stuff that's going on there. His absence did allow Jordan Geronimo, if you're going to take away a positive from this game, it's Jordan Geronimo's play. He did step up in this one, but Queen's early fouls, his woes, Maryland's inside presence just was not there. It's what has really built this team this season. You've had a very strong inside presence with good veteran guard play that's been able to hit outside shots. Well, you didn't have the inside presence in this game, and you weren't able to hit outside shots like you have been this season at an efficient clip. Maryland finishes the game 2 of 11 from downtown, and just not good enough. Washington, they were resilient in this game. Every time it felt like Maryland was going to, pull ahead, Washington responded with good defense and good offense, relying on guys like Great Osobor and Zoom Diallo. DJ Davis came up with a couple big shots as well. Washington, they kept the scoring close. They kept the scoring close thanks to Great Osobor and his impactful play, including a three-pointer and key assists from just multiple players from Washington and what they were able to do. Washington shot 3 of 14 from three in the first half, and then 2 of 10, ending the game 5 of 24. So it's not like they were doing anything super spectacular from three, but they were able to shoot 42% in the first half from the field and then 50% in the second half. And another big thing was free throws. They were able to get themselves to the free throw line and they were able to make their free throws. 17 of 21 for Washington in the second half, and that was huge. That proved to be a big factor in this game, that Washington was able to get themselves to the free throw line, make their free throws, especially closing out the game, as well as Maryland was trying to claw back as they were about 5 or 6 points away. And if Washington missed some free throws, the opportunity would have been there, but they did a good job of hitting their free throws and keeping that that deficit at a distance. The second half, like I said, the momentum really began to shift from what was going on. Maryland came out strong with an 8-2 run to take a 9-point lead, 41-32, largely on the back of Reese and McGool. But Washington came back. Washington chipped away at the lead over the next few minutes, tying the game multiple times before taking control for a good for good after a 7-0 run sparked by Zoom Diallo and DJ Davis. DJ Davis ends the game after playing 24 minutes. He ends the game with 17 points. Zoom Diallo ends the game with 18 points. And like I said, Great Osobor, who played 36 minutes in this game. A guy of his size and stature to be able to play 36 minutes is just outstanding with what he's able to do. 20 points in this game, 14 rebounds. He did have 6 turnovers, but he was a menace out there with 4 assists, 1 block, 3 steals. Just an all-around fantastic performance from Great Osobor. Like I said, you'd like to see him clean up those turnovers and some of the stuff he was doing out there, but overall, good game from Great Osobor. There was a steal in a three-point play at one point that was crucial as a turning point, as Courtwright stole a pass and completed a layup and then converted the foul shot, putting Washington ahead for good at 62-58. Like I said, DJ Davis's three-point shooting, his free throws, he knocked out a critical three-pointer, was perfect from the free throw line in this game. 3 for 6 from behind the arc, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. It was a big key for DJ Davis. Let's go through some of the pros and cons. Let's start with Washington's pros. It's Great Osobor. It's the dominance of Great Osobor and what he's able to do for this team. It's the way he's able to attract attention from the other team. It's the way he's able to get players in foul trouble, his smart play, and then also to deliver to the other players on his team as well. 20 points, 14 rebounds, and he was Washington's anchor, consistently delivering in clutch moments for them. Zoom Diallo, I love that Danny Sprinkle stuck with him throughout this game. Sometimes you come out in the second half and maybe you get a little tight, especially with that 8-2 run. You think, do I really want Zoom Diallo, the true freshman, to be kind of leading us in this situation? But it was an excellent decision by Danny Sprinkle to continue to run with his freshman. His freshman did not have a look of fear in his eyes. And at the end of the day, this just came from a very balanced team effort. I felt like in this game, Washington just executed the game plan better than Maryland did. And I think that goes back to coaching. I've been very critical of Kevin Willard and what he has done in his career, not feeling like he's always done the best job and definitely not feeling like he's done his best job at Maryland. I was getting ready to eat those words this year with Derek Queen and everything going on, and I still might eat those words, but it's not looked like it so far, at least through this game, where the team just did not execute. Now, maybe that's because of travel. Maybe that's because of this, that, and the other. Maybe this will wake up this Maryland team who's maybe feeling themselves a little bit and thinking this Washington team can't beat us. Sometimes losses like this can be very good for a team. We'll see. But overall, they're going to have to clean some things up. Poor shooting in this one. Like I said, 2 of 11. You just can't do that. Foul trouble, turnovers. Maryland ends the night with a total of 11 turnovers in this one, which isn't terrible, but some of those turnovers did come at crucial moments. Like I said, the steal from DJ Davis, and you just can't have that. You have got to take care of the ball in those situations, and Gillespie. We need to see more from Gillespie. One of Maryland's key players was ineffective, finished with just 1 point. No significant contributions from Jacoby Gillespie in this one. He played 18 minutes. He was 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3-point arc. He fouled out, and he had 3 turnovers. Just not good enough. It is not good enough for them to be able to win when Gillespie is playing like that. He is not, Jameer Young level of importance, but he's still an important player who needs to play better than that if they want to get the win. Talking about Maryland and some pros before we move on to Washington and some of their cons is that Julian Reese just had a standout performance. With other players not really showing up and doing as good of a job as they could, Julian Reese showed up, 22 points, 8 rebounds in this game, and he did a very good job in the interior for Washington and Maryland. And Maryland did have some good bench contributions as well. Jordan Geronimo and Deshaun Harris-Smith came off the bench. They provided key contributions, with Geronimo scoring 10 points and pulling down 5 rebounds. Deshaun Harris-Smith, he played 21 minutes in this game, with other guys not really stepping up. He had himself 8 points, 2 assists, 2 steals. He had himself a 3-pointer in this one. So you like to see that kind of progression from Deshaun Harris-Smith, who was really supposed to be an important factor to this team as a freshman last year. Didn't really have that, and he's still struggling a bit this year. But he and not terribly struggling. I'm not trying to be down on him, but it was good to see this kind of performance from him, and hopefully he's able to build off of that. Do have a couple cons for Washington, although, like I said, very good by Washington in this game. They had struggles shooting the 3, like I mentioned, and then overall this was just a foul heavy game for pretty much everybody. Brendan Bach Wilhelm, which is like my favorite name in the Big Ten right now, he did foul out about midway through the second half, I believe, maybe about 5 minutes left in the second half, somewhere in that range. He did foul out. In this game, you had Casey Ibakwa, who he only had 2 points in the game, but he did find himself with 4 fouls and only 6 minutes of play. So when you're playing that few minutes, you just can't put that many fouls out there. Key takeaways and final thoughts of this game is just Maryland. I think Maryland's going to be a team that struggles on the road this season. They continue to have issues, having 2 consecutive road losses so far. This doesn't bode well for them to contend in the Big Ten. You're looking at Maryland. If they struggle on the road like this, they could have one of those seasons where they are 10-10 in the conference, 9-11. Now, that would be an improvement for Kevin Willard, but still, this was an out of conference that really offered more for this team to be able to do than to go 9-11 or 10-10 in the conference, and that's what's going to happen if you struggle on the road like this. And just about everybody struggles on the road in the Big Ten, so I don't mean to call them out, but if you struggle on the road, where you just one win, 2 wins on the road, it's not enough. You have to get more than that. Washington, this is a breakthrough win for them. I think Washington's going to move up in my power rankings. I like this team a whole lot better after seeing what I saw in this game, seeing Danny Sprinkle coach as well as he did. I really like Danny Sprinkle, and I think that he could be a very good coach for this Washington team, not just in the future, but in this season, especially with these guys that he has to work with, because he does have some pieces. Like I said, DJ Davis, Zoom Diallo, Great Osobor. He has some pieces here that he could work with, and it's gonna be interesting to see. So as we look ahead, I'm excited. I'm excited because this isn't going to be a season where it's like there's 4 teams at the bottom that can't do anything. I think Rutgers, with Dylan Harper back, they're going to be a team that can contend with just about anybody. Washington obviously can contend with teams who are looking really good at times. USC has contended with a couple teams so far this year. Minnesota gave Purdue a bit of a game there for a little bit today. So we'll see how it goes, but that's my thoughts on the game. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you that watch. If you have any comments, if you have any thoughts on the game overall, if you're a Maryland fan, you're like, we have got to fix these things. If you're tired of Kevin Willard, let me know. I'd love to hear that. If you're a Washington fan, you're stoked. You're like, hey, first Big Ten win. This is going to be huge for us, and we can build off this. And let me know what your record prediction is in the Big Ten. If you're a Washington fan, I'd love to hear what you think, because even Washington media was picking Washington to lose this game by 10 plus points. So obviously there's been not a whole lot of confidence with this team so far, but I think this is a game that can give you some confidence for sure. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one.